my paper said like C/D ? And then they just put a C and they just like never spoke about it again. They were like, this girl's not passing this again. So like, if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it will think it's a failure, but it does really well at like swimming around its bowl. Like we're all good at different things and like, that's okay. You don't have to be good at everything.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Vicaria, aka The Math Guru, and you're listening to Math Therapy, a podcast that helps guests work through their math traumas one problem at a time. Whether you think you're a math person or not, you're about to find out that math people don't actually exist, but the scars that math class left on many of us definitely do. Oh, and don't worry, no calculators or actual math were involved in the making of this podcast. Guys, holy shit, do I have a crazy episode for you today. Okay, so get this. At the height of the pandemic, I was on social media like a lot. So one day, there I am scrolling Instagram and I see that Bustle, an account targeted to women with legit 3.4 million followers, has posted something. I think the best part of being an adult is just opting out of math. That's what it said. I was pissed. I mean, how dare an account targeted to women straight up tell their audience that it's totally cool of them to opt out of math? Like, hello, sure, let's play right into the hands of the patriarchy, man. I mean, let's just tell the world that no worries, women aren't into math, so feel free to rope us into your MLMs, trick us with faulty stats, steal all our money, like, ugh. Anyways, it turns out that a girl named Bex had actually tweeted that original statement and Bustle had reposted it. So, obviously, I tracked Bex down all the way across the pond in London, UK. But like on Zoom, obviously. Guys, you're going to pee your pants laughing. She is so funny. So hike up your diapers and let's get into it. Bex, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It is so good to be here.
So what prompted you to write that tweet in the first place?
Okay, so literally, when I said, Vanessa, it's not that deep, it really wasn't. I had seen this this tweet that was like, I don't know what you guys call it. I think you call it like PEMDAS or it's BODMAS or whatever.
PEMDAS.
Yeah. Me and my Canadian housemate fight about which one it is all the time. And so I'd seen this thing and it was like, which one of my followers can work out this like equation quick enough or whatever. And I was like, I looked at it and I didn't know what was going on. And I just thought, I don't have to. There's no reason I have to do this. And I was like, God, that is such a great feeling that I can just opt out. I can just be like, no, thank you to that equation. And so I literally just fired off this tweet. Like I don't think about these things. Like I think about them. I try never to be like offensive or say anything that I wouldn't, say aloud or anything like that. But generally speaking, a tweet about math, I was like, whatever. And just people started kicking off. And I was like, the best bit was like, someone said to me, they were like, you're disrespecting maths and science. And I was like, sir, I literally said, I can opt out. That's all I said. I didn't say it was crap. I didn't say anything bad about maths. I literally said, I can just opt out of this equation. It was just, there's very little context on Twitter, I think.
Oh my God, I have so many things to say. I'm like already crying laughing and my eyeliner that I put on just for you is running.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing though, I want to say this. I want to make sure this is so clear. I actually, from the very beginning, had no issue with the fact that you tweeted it. I was like, oh my God, like I want to reach out to this girl and see what prompted her to tweet it. Because now that the work I do is I'm like, oh my God, I hate when women feel shitty about math or feel like they have to opt out. It wasn't that. I was pissed off at Bustle, who should know better, who has millions of female followers. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would you think it was appropriate to post this with no context?
Yeah.
Just so you know, we are still waiting for Bustle to respond. I'm sure they will after this. Okay, but so let's back up. So you post it, everyone loses it. Okay, so first of all, tell me some of the reactions you were getting. Like, tell me like what was going on because it had 17.3 thousand likes, which is crazy. Yeah. So like, tell me what was going on.
Like I say, so one man in particular really took issue and Like I said, people started arguing like in the comments, and I'm like, I just didn't care enough. I was like not interested. And, I was like, yeah, you guys argue amongst yourselves. I'm done. I just didn't want to do an equation. And then he starts kind of like, having this argument. And then I just blocked him. I was like, I can't be bothered actually. So then he made a new Twitter.
Stop it.
Yeah, like a complete new Twitter named after a famous mathematician. And
oh my God, which one? Okay, no, who cares?
Yeah, come on.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
I think it began with a G, and I think he created multiple.
Oh my God, they're probably all male mathematicians. I bet you he didn't name one fucking woman.
Oh, no, of course. And so And then he tweets me again and says, original poster blocks anyone who disagrees with her. And I was like, no, I don't. I just blocked you because you're like, this is too much. Like, you're just like arguing with all these people. And so I blocked him again. And then he made another Twitter.
Oh my God.
Back being like, you are the lowest of the low. And I was like, dude, I'm going to keep blocking you. This is never ending. So it was pretty funny. But like a lot of people were like, oh yeah, like, I'd love to opt out of math, but I'm going into like doing this in university, or I'm going off to do this. And I was like, oh, this is nice. Like people are like, oh, I'm not so sure, but they're like continuing it anyway. But yeah, like people just went mental, and I'm just like, it was nothing.
Yeah, it's well, and the thing is, the way you actually just explained it now, like you're right. That is actually really empowering as an adult to say, like if we're gonna really put it on broader terms, to say this doesn't make me happy. Like,
yes, exactly.
This doesn't bring me joy. Yes.
Yeah.
Now though, I do want to talk about the deeper problem. You're talking about this guy who's been really, really aggressive in his reactions to you. And I know that's not the only one. And you had mentioned that I see this a lot where I'm going to say men because it really is mostly men. Although, I mean, it can happen with women too. But men hate women when it comes to math, period. So to back up, did you remember, or were you like a part of that whole Gracie Cunningham tweet? Like, did you see what that whole thing?
No, I don't think so.
I think she was a 17-year-old girl and she'd posted this TikTok and it was her doing her makeup. Do you remember this?
Yes.
So she had posted, so for everyone who doesn't know, she had posted this TikTok of her doing her makeup and sort of being like, I don't really get why we need math anyways. Like, who even invented this? And people went fucking mental and they were like, you're so stupid. Like, you're making women look dumb. You're such a dumb girl. Like, again, you're so right. There was a lot about like not respecting math.
Yes, so much.
Which was like, you're right. That's so weird. But then all these like math professors came on and they were like, these are actually really great questions.
Yes.
Right? Like, we shouldn't be hating on people for asking questions. So like, what do you think it is? Or do you have an opinion on like why people have such a visceral reaction to women when it comes to math?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, but I agree. I think that especially when you're young and, this girl was like very beautiful. And I just think like there's this kind of like bimbo narrative that people do like to feed into. And then when people like that, and then they get disappointed, or they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly how I thought she would be. And like someone actually commented, I think it was on Instagram on the bustle thing, being like, oh, like just another like dumb girl, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, wow, like, no. but yeah, so I think there is this kind of like stigma around women, especially. But I'm not really sure why. I guess it's just sexism. Like,
yeah,
it's rife everywhere all the time. So why not in maths?
Yeah, well, I think you just said that really, really well. And I think it's true. Like a lot of the work I do, I have my master's in math education and gender studies. And I like studied specifically how the media like really promotes this stuff, which is why I like jumped on your tweet and was like, no, but let's talk about like how you have such a great, like, I don't give a fuck attitude, right? Like that's kind of your thing on Twitter even, but like even in real life.
Yeah.
But doesn't it get to you if like 20 people are calling you stupid?
I mean, not online. No, I think if you took in everything everyone says online, like you'd just be so sad. And and also I don't know them and they don't know me. And I know that, that there's no nuance on Twitter. There's no context. So people can call you what they like or say what they like. It genuinely doesn't affect me. In real life, if someone is to call me stupid or think that I'm stupid, I'm most offended. Like that is like yeah. And I think it is especially, so I actually work in the city. And the city is full of a lot of people who have gone to university, very well spoken. And I mean, I'm doing a little bit of a podcast voice now, definitely. I can feel it. And all of my friends will watch this and they'll go, you don't sound like that. I don't know what voice that is. But
wait, do your real voice.
I don't know how to do that. I flip between like, oh yeah, it's very posh, yeah, it's phone voice, and
you've just, not done that one.
Honestly, though, but this is a very like I think a very polished version of my voice. But sometimes if I've had a wine or something, I'll be like, oh right, like oh you know, and it's awful. And not many people sound like me where I work, and I haven't been to university. And so I spent a lot of time feeling like I have to prove myself. So I do feel like in real life, if someone thought I was stupid, that's when I'm like, oh God, like I really don't want that. I don't think I've ever played like the dumb girl, if only by accident. But online, say anything like, God, I just don't care.
This is so similar to me in so many ways where like I am using my actual voice and I have kind of like what is stereotypically like a valley voice. Like I've been called a valley girl more times than I can count. Right, yeah. So you can imagine in math education, I don't get taken very seriously, which is like, why though? I'm so hell bent on this work. Cause I'm like, that's such fucking bullshit. Like, are you gonna tell? Yeah. So like, it's just so funny that we are having such similar but different experiences. And I'm really excited to hear that. I want to dig more into this. So like, as the tweet went on, it came out that you said you had actually tweeted it because you have dyscalculia.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, first of all, tell our listeners what dyscalculia means for you and what it is? Like, tell us some of the stuff that you struggle with on a daily basis when it comes to math.
Yeah, cool. So first of all, I want to say that I'm not formally diagnosed, and that's over here. Sure. It's very like difficult to do that. And it's also just not worth it. I have a job. My life is not impacted hugely by it in that sense. So there's just no need to seek actual like real diagnosis. But lots of stuff that I deal with would be stuff like memorizing numbers, and I cannot do it. Like even like smaller sequences, I just can't memorize any kind of numbers. That's impossible.
Like your times tables or something?
Yeah, like that just, oh my gosh. And I can't, the worst one and the most embarrassing, it really is embarrassing, is I can't tell you a number that is over 4 digits. So I don't know what that number is. And I don't know how many zeros are in a million. And I don't know, but like all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And if you put a number in front of me, I can't.
Or you just like said it. Like you mean like if you saw it, you wouldn't be able to. If I say it,
I wouldn't be
able to.
So what happened the other day, which was just unbelievably embarrassing. It actually happened twice, but I'll give you only one example. But basically I was looking through, my friend had made a lot of money on, I think it was on OnlyFans. Oh, cheeky.
On what?
OnlyFans. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a little, she's...
What is that? Why don't I know what that is?
Oh, I don't know why you know. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is quick.
It's just where you sell...
like pictures?
Yeah, pictures.
Oh, okay.
And stuff.
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah. I get it. Okay, well, good for your friend.
Good for her. And she'd made
whatever.
And she'd made a ton of money, and I was like, wow, like, and I was showing my other friend, I was like, look, like she'd made like £1,400 last month, and they were like, Rebecca, that says 14,000, and I was like, okay, well, first of all, what the fuck? What? And second of all, like,
you're like, get me a camera.
Yeah, I was like, what? The other one I do is get confused between pounds. It's going to sound ridiculous. Pounds and hours. So once my mum sent me into the shop to go and buy as many chewing gums as I could with £1, and they were 40p, and I bought one, and she was like,
okay,
why'd you only buy one? How much was this? And I was like, it's 40p. And she was like, well, then why didn't you get 2? And I was like, because that wouldn't be £1, because I thought £1 was 60p.
Oh, 60.
As in like
God.
An hour,
that's
as in like time. Yeah. And I get that confused. I do that a lot when I'm late for a lot of stuff, because I'll like put in the amount of time that I'm meant to take, and then it just doesn't. And then I'll be like, oh shit, I should have left like 20 minutes ago because I thought it would take an hour, but it's actually going to take like 100 minutes. It's
100 minutes.
It's my God. Annoying.
You know what though?
Constantly.
That is a really interesting one because I wrote a kid's math book last year and had no idea how to do it. So I was doing all this research and they were talking about how one of the most common problems is that exact issue.
Really?
And like truthful, you know what I fucking think? We're the ones who invented time. Why didn't we just put 100 minutes in an hour?
Right? Come on.
Right? I know. We could have just done that. We could have just done it.
For me, you know?
I know.
So yeah, okay, that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff. So this is so interesting. So like, first of all, thank you for sharing that. I feel like most people have no idea. Yes. I hate that every example you give, you feel embarrassed about, or you call yourself like, I really don't like that. But you know, we have limited time here, so I can't give you full math therapy, but I do want you to know that I deal with thousands of students and thousands of people who are good at math. And you probably don't know this about me, but I was on this game show called Canada's Smartest Person, where I publicly, in front of 100,000 people, boldly stated that 4 minus 3 was 2. So yeah, that happened.
And that's your math trauma.
And that's definitely traumatic. And I kept going. Like I kept going. It was then 5 minus 3 was 4. Like I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't see. So it happens. And for sure it's hard to feel like you're like, okay, well, I just have these blocks. But the truth is people have, you know, different ways of seeing the world in a bunch of ways. And I think it's really interesting that yours is math related. And I actually wanted to ask you, because I've had this argument with people before where I'm like, people relate math to intelligence. So for example, like if someone's a really good artist, we're not like, oh my God, they're so smart. Like, you know, they're so smart. They can, or like someone's like really good at like knitting or something, right? And they make this beautiful sweater, which I could never make. But when someone's good at math, they could be a fucking idiot in every other aspect of their lives, but you're like, they're a genius. They're so smart.
Yeah.
So smart. Yeah. So then the thing is when all of a sudden you don't feel like math is your strength, you think that it makes you stupid.
Yes. So there was a picture, and it genuinely got me like it sounds so stupid. It genuinely got me through a lot of stuff where basically it was just like a silly like little Facebook picture or something stupid, but it was like, if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it will think it's a failure, but it does really well at like swimming around its bowl. Like we're all good at different things, and like that's okay. Yeah. You don't have to be good at everything. And like I know my strengths and I know what I am good at, and I would still constitute myself as I like say I'm smart. But yeah, I totally agree. It's one of those things that someone can be an absolute idiot in all other senses of the word and be good at math, and they're like, wow, you're so smart. Yeah. That's amazing.
Okay, we have to move on. Oh my God, I feel like time is going by too fast. I need to ask you more questions. Okay, because I want to go into like how math was for you. Can you give me a rundown of like what math was like for you in class? Did you always feel this way? Tell me about your relationship with math growing up.
Okay, so I guess.
Because people need to know this. I feel like I've like buried the lead. Like Bex, guys, works at a bank. Okay, so just sit back on that for a second. She's doing a bunch of superhero poses right now, which she should be. We're going to talk about that more in a sec, but I want you guys to like keep that context of like, we have this amazing woman here who's like, oh my God, math, la, 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 la. But kind of, I feel like, you're fucking good at math. Otherwise, you wouldn't be working in a bank. But we'll talk about that after. Tell me about your relationship with math growing up. Okay,
so math growing up. So yeah, it was just always a struggle. So my math homework, I just couldn't. I think a lot of it comes from as well. My mum, she's brilliant, but she never struggled with math. She was always kind of like, not average. Average feels like a harsh word to use, but she was kind of average at everything. She was just kind of, good at it. She got on with it. It was fine. She wasn't like good, like really good at anything. That sounds really horrible. That's not what I meant.
No, it doesn't.
But you know what
I say? I say this about myself. It's the jack of all trades, master of none thing.
Absolutely.
That's a great skill.
It is a great skill. And I just, if my mother ever listens to this, I didn't mean it badly. And so she just couldn't understand when I couldn't understand. And she would get really like angry at me because she's just like, I'm explaining this to you. Why aren't you understanding it? But my stepdad is dyslexic. And he would basically come in and say like, and he would just get it. He would understand that there was something that just isn't going in. It's not, I'm looking at it. It's not going in. It's not working. Right. And obviously, you know, if someone's shouting at you, it's less likely to go in. It's, you know, realistically.
Teachers,
yeah, it's not.
Parents and teachers, you heard it here first.
You've heard it here. If you're shouting, I'm not listening, okay? So my stepdad would really be like good at it and get it and say to me, like, trying to explain it. And I mean, I still wouldn't get it, but he wouldn't get annoyed. And so it just, you know, it was difficult, but so because he's dyslexic, I would write out all the words and stuff in his invoices. I'd help him type them up because it'd just take him so long. So we just kind of had this like little exchange that we did. So we just helped each other. It was really nice. And then I think I was in set 3 in my secondary school for maths. And I was, that's not a good set to be in, let's just say. It's not, you know, up there. And basically we spent a good 6 weeks learning Pythagoras theorem. And
6 weeks?
Yeah, because that's how long it takes when no one can do maths in the class.
Yeah. No.
And then I moved a couple of hours away and went to a new school. And in my new school, they were just about to start Pythagoras theorem. And I was like, I know this. I've got this. I've just been doing this for 6 weeks. So I have a bit of a head start here. And my absolutely gorgeous, lovely, amazing maths teacher, just the kindest man in the world. He was just such a kind, lovely, lovely, lovely man. And he basically said to me, he was like, "Oh, Rebecca, you're really good at this." And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not. I've just done this for a very long time in my old school. I was in set 3, like, I'm not very good at maths." And he was like, "No, I don't believe you. I'm putting you in top set next year." So that is the,
oh my God,
that is the highest set you can be in. Everyone in it is doing like extra statistics work and stuff. And they're all like absolute like math whizzes. And I was like, no, please. You're like, "You've got this wrong. Like, I can't do this." And he was like, "No, I believe in you." So he put me in top set. And for 2 years, I wanted to cry every day because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I had no idea what was going on for 2 years. And I was so blessed though, because I had really lovely girls who sat next to me who tried to explain things to me like better. And he was just incredible. He was just a fantastic teacher. And I ended up getting a C and passing. Lord only knows how. I am so sure the examiner just looked at my paper and was like, "This poor bitch. Like, oh my God." Like my paper said like C/D ? And then they just put a C and they just like never spoke about it again. They were like, this girl's not passing this again. So like.
Okay, I need to say this to you. Do you understand how hard it is to go through math with a learning disability that's undiagnosed? Like, I want you to.
Yeah.
Well, you do know how. It sounds like you have. I want you to understand this, though. Like, so I have a tutoring company. We tutor thousands of students. At least 30% of these kids have accommodations for their learning disabilities. So the kids I have with, we call it dyscalculia in math. It's a diagnosable term. They have accommodations. Some of those accommodations include the fact that they can always bring a sheet with their equations on it. They never have to memorize everything. They're always allowed a calculator. The fact that you didn't get those accommodations is simply not fair, right? So I want you to, that is literally traumatic to be sitting in a room with other people feeling like you should just know what's going on. So like, give yourself some fucking credit.
Oh, I do.
Like,
don't worry.
Good. Okay, good.
Way
good.
more than I'm doing.
Because that is good. No, I'm glad. And second of all, like, okay, God bless your teacher's heart. That's so nice. But like, that's also not cool, right? Like, it's like to put you, it's really not, it's so nice that he believes in you. But the reason we have streams is so that people can like, you know, feel comfortable where they're, and actually I think that the downside is that set 3 has such a bad rep for being a bad math and you don't want to be in this math.
I mean, I didn't care personally, but it was one of those things. And it was a bit of an insult at school. Like, oh, you're in set 4,
right.
oh, you're in set 3. It was one of those ones where you're like, it had stigma.
It has stigma. And we have that here in Canada too, right? We have this applied math where everyone's like, oh, I'm in the dumb math. And it's like, so first of all, we need to change the perception around that. Not everyone needs fucking calculus, right? But like everyone should feel capable of math in some way. And I don't like that you weren't given that opportunity because of all of these mishmash, whatever. But let's fast forward to the fact that you fucking work at a bank. Like, how did that happen?
Yes. Well, I'm a PA, so I'm a personal assistant. So my role involves little to no maths. Like, it really does. A lot of my role is just writing, emails, being chirpy. Like, I just, But one of the things as well, actually, that I struggle with is when I'm trying to talk out time zones. So, and I always do it the wrong way.
I actually have trouble with. I do too, though. I just Google it.
No, mine's
I just Google what time is it.
I do that, but it'll be like, oh, I've got to set up a call tomorrow in for Europe time, which is an hour ahead, and then I'll always end up putting it an hour wrong either way, and I'm just like, fuck's sake. But no one cares because I just get on with it and change it and it's fine and I'll sort it. I'm like good at my job mostly. So I mean, but it's still funny. It's still funny just to say that working in like a bank when you have no idea about numbers is just a funny thing. My mum, when I started working in the bank, just pissed herself. She just thought it was the funniest thing. She was like, how did you, she was like, you're so jammy. Like, how did you end up working at a fucking bank? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like,
you're so cool because you don't give like this is the thing people don't understand too is like being good at math. Okay, all those things you listed that you couldn't do because of dyscalculia, none of those things make you good at math.
No.
None of them. Like you could literally be able to like spout off every fucking times table in the world and not know how to creatively solve a problem. And like you're fine at math, but it doesn't make you great. So like that's the thing. It's not like I want you leaving this podcast being like, I'm a fucking genius, but I do want you to realize like you're way better at math than you think because if you're problem solving this way, like that is actually what math is about, right? So even if you are getting that wrong time zone and then figuring out how to correct it or deciding, you know what, this isn't my strength. So what I'm going to do is every single time I'm just going to Google it. You've solved a problem.
I think outsourcing is always solving problems.
Yes, that's literally my life mantra. How do you think this podcast gets done? That's literally, that's how it gets done. I'm like,
I don't know how to do it.
I just don't know how. Okay, I could talk about this forever with you. Okay, we're done. We're not done, but we're going to do a couple, like 3 final questions. Tell me honestly, do you feel like you just cannot do math or somewhere deep inside of you are you like, you know what, I can do some shit. And if I really, really wanted to, if I like my life depended on it, of course I could learn this, but I just don't.
I think I like, and I don't want to be like, I can't do it, like, and just be like definite, but it's something that just doesn't make sense to me. I look at stuff and I can look at it and look at it and look at it. And it is literally like there is a wall in my brain that will not pass. And the funniest thing, when I was growing up, my older sister was also quite bad at math. And then she just kind of like, everyone always used to say to me, oh, like with Joanna, it will just click. One day it will just click. It will just make sense. And I've been waiting for it to fucking click. Forever.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's fair either because I feel like so from what I'm hearing, it feels like everyone in your life has put you in the driver's seat being like, hey, it'll just click. Or your mom being like, you're not trying hard enough. Why don't you get it? Like, has anyone ever used dyscalculia techniques with you?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Like, and I think it would be wildly different. And also what we were saying earlier about being able to bring a calculator and being able to bring your all that. We now live in a time where we are never without a calculator. There is very rarely that I am without a calculator, without my phone, in my pocket, in my hand. Why aren't people kind of allowed to have calculators if it's going to help them and if it's going to give it, because I think as well, a lot of it is to do with confidence. My confidence in maths was knocked so early on that, now it is probably like a bit too far gone for me. And also I probably even myself got kind of like a mental block going, I just don't want to. It doesn't bring me joy. Right. But perhaps if people were allowed to have the calculators, to have the things that are actually available to us at all times, then things could be different. But it's too late for some of us.
Well, it's not too late, but I think you just articulated it. So, and that's what I kind of want to just like before I ask our two final questions, I do want to just take a moment for a second. Everything you just said, it's funny because you started by saying like, nope, I just don't think I can do it. But then like literally the next sentence, you were like, well, I actually think if I had had this, that, and the other thing, there's a chance I could have. But that's so important. So I'm not trying to be like so therapy, but I really want you to leave here being like, this is a very empowering choice you've made to not continue with math, but you were not given a fair chance.
Agreed.
You really were not given a fair chance. Okay. Fine. So we're agreeing on that. We're going to tweet it. It's going to fucking go viral.
No, I'm sure it will.
Okay. Final two questions. What would you say? So first of all, do you think there's such a thing as a math person? And what would you say to someone who said, I'm just not a math person? Now that we've had this very enlightening interview, no pressure.
I guess my main thing would be, I just let people, if you don't want to be a math person and your life is unaffected by the fact that you're not a math person, and I'm talking about, like I say, equations, or my follow-up tweet after that was something like, if I'm splitting dinner with friends, I will let them split it and I will let them figure it out.
Yes.
Outsourcing. If your life is not affected by the fact that you can't, then live and let live. Like, if you don't want to do the math, if you're not a math person, that's fine.
Okay. And tell me this, what would you change about the way math is taught in school?
Biggest one for me, and this is like shout out to my mom, don't just keep repeating the same teaching method. If it's not working, don't keep shouting the same thing or keep saying the same thing and going over it and hoping that it will click, because it won't. If you don't get it the first time someone has said it in that way, you need to change the way that you're teaching it, or you need to change the way that you're saying it. Because too many people just go over it and over it and over it and go, why aren't you getting it? And then you're just like, blocked. Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. Like imagine you had 3 people all explaining something the same way and you were like, well, fuck, I just can't. That would make you think you can't get it. Whereas like, so we have like 40 different tutors and we often will need to try 3 different tutors with a student before the way the tutor, like I call myself the Tinder of math tutoring. Because I'm like, I want to match make you, but it's like, I want you to meet your tutor connection where you're like, I get how this person is talking to me. Math is a language. You can't just like yell at somebody. Nobody communicates this way. So like, I think this is such an amazing story of like somebody who you're so self-assured in what you want. And I think the way you talk about opting out of math is actually really, really empowering. So I am going to be fucking spamming Bustle with this to be like, listen, if you wanted to post that tweet, you should have explained the context in which she meant it, because you're not like, it is actually empowering to hear you talk about it this way. And I think you're not saying to people like, no, just fucking ignore numbers. And like, if you can't do it, you can't do it. You're saying if it doesn't bring you joy and it doesn't affect you, don't do it. And when it does, reconsider. So if you need to like understand a sale price, ask someone instead of just being like, I'm just not going to.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, Bex, this has been amazing. You are such an inspiration and you really are.
I love that.
And I love that you agreed to be on this podcast and to just, like really show that you're open to conversation, because that is what social media should be about, right? It's about actually us having these conversations. So
agreed.
Okay, fine, bye. I guess that's it. See ya. We have to sign off. Okay, was I right? Did you pee? I bet you guys are glad that I warned you. I am obsessed with Bex, and I feel like she's low-key going to become reality show famous. You heard her here first, guys. I loved Bex's honesty and think her message is so important. Be true to you, but also don't let other people tell you what you are and aren't capable of. Also, teachers, I hope you were listening when she pointed out that explaining the same thing the same way but like louder is not a valid teaching method. You can find more of Bex's sassy tweets at Bex_Bambi. If something in this episode inspired you, please tweet us at Math Therapy, and you can also follow me personally at The Math Guru on Instagram or Twitter. Math Therapy is hosted by me, Vanessa Vicaria, produced by Sabina Wex, and edited by David Kochberg. Our theme song is Waves by Goodnight Sunrise, which is actually my band. If you know someone who needs math therapy or needs to hear someone else getting math therapy, please share this podcast and rate or review it on whatever podcast app you use. Those things actually make such a big difference. I am determined to change the culture surrounding math and to give math like a massive makeover, and I truly need your help. So spread the word. That's all for this week. Stay tuned for our next episode out next Thursday.